Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for being with me. I am Diana Popa, business coach, and I would like to thank you for subscribing to our channel. Today, my special guest is Bill Blish. Bill is an international business leader with a focus on business growth and leadership development. Welcome, Bill. Thank you so much for being with me today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us more about your story and how you started on this path of helping other businesses to grow.
Sure. When like you said, my background is in international business. I worked mainly with equity groups and I would develop sales programs as they acquired companies. And throughout the process, I was fortunate enough to have I was fortunate enough to work with leaders, strong leaders, both male, female, young, old, and also be able to align with some mentors throughout my career that were just fantastic people that had different backgrounds, education, business, law, medical, etc. And as I progressed through my career, I really found that the most rewarding part was when I could take someone and watch them grow and help them grow both personally and professionally. It wasn't about the dollars and all that stuff. It was about watching these people, and sometimes they would leave our company and go and be successful elsewhere. But it was really a nice feeling whenever we would accomplish something together. And as I transitioned out of my career, I took some time off and thought about what I wanted to do. It was helping people either learn how to be a leader, because everybody can be a leader. You don't have to be the head of a company to be a leader. You can be in any role, a mom, anything, and be a leader. And also have them focus on being successful, right? Both personally and professionally. I think it's important that, as we talk through with people, well, a lot of times we're focused on the professional side, but being a leader is, you're a leader at home, you're a leader with your friends, you're a leader of your life, right? And I think that's, something to me that, has resonated. And it was something that I, as we discussed the other day, it's something that I wanted to do. And I'm really excited about some of the things that are going on.
I love that. And I'm excited actually that you are mentioning this, because my very, very first program was about, when I did a presentation, was about how to become a leader in your life and in your business. And I fully agree with you that actually we are leaders everywhere we go, whether it's in our family, in our relationships with our friends, also in our business. I fully agree with you. I would like to ask you, what defines a leader? What would you think that are the ingredients for someone to become a leader?
Right, and obviously anybody in this field, that's the one thing they get asked: what is the leader? And I think first of all, I think you have to separate, as I said, someone who is the head of a company versus a leader. Like a lot of CEOs aren't necessarily leaders, but there are people that work in production facilities, that work on a production line, that are leaders. I think when I think of a leader, I think it's somebody who has the ability in their life to connect the dots, right? To connect the dots of understanding what it means when what they set out to be successful at and want to do, they lead their life down a path to do that. The second thing is, I think a leader is somebody that people look at not just for guidance, but for trust, for empathy, for a sit-down cup of coffee. They may be struggling at something, and they have the confidence that they can, one, talk to that person, but two, that person can help them. And I think those are the two. I think those are the two areas of leadership that are often overshadowed by a leader is a guy who makes all the money or is the CEO or whatnot. There's just a real trust that comes from being a leader, right? People trust you, they believe in you. They say, lead from the back, and that's, and which is true, lead from the back, you put your people out in front. But I think it's just one of those things that, when you can build that trust because then you can hold them accountable for what they want to accomplish, and they know that it's not something, it's not the what's in it for me, it's what's in it for them.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. I know from my own experience, this is not something that is easily done, that sometimes we are under stress, we are overwhelmed. And on top of that, if we have all the emotions of our team members, this can be challenging actually to deal with in a leadership position. What would you say that is required for a leader to build that trust with the team members, to have that trust that you mentioned, that anyone can come to that person and just express like very openly their concerns, their worries, or their desires even?
Yeah, I think the number one trait of a good leader is honesty, right? It's not it's not telling people what they want to hear, but what they need to hear. And sometimes it's difficult, right? Sometimes it's a difficult conversation. It's a very candid, difficult conversation. I think right behind honesty is empathy. Put yourself in their shoes, right? Understand they're coming to you, if there's an issue, they're coming to you for a reason. It's something that they deem is not right in their life. They want to change it, or they're looking for some guidance. And don't pass it off, have that empathy and understand, we've probably all been there in their shoes, as we've kind of gone up the ranks, and just, be willing to listen, actively listen, have empathy, and then be honest and tell the truth.
Thank you, Bill. Thank you. I believe that something that I also encountered in my experience is that we talk a lot about leadership skills, and that you can develop these leadership skills. Can we actually develop honesty and empathy?
I think you can. The honesty, I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a personal trait. But again, I think with honesty, I've always been the type of person that I've always wanted people to be honest with me. If I was trying to achieve something and there was no way I was going to achieve it, I wanted somebody to tell me that and tell me, because the path I was going down, I wasn't going to do it. The empathy part, yeah, you absolutely can have empathy. I think, when especially in today's world where you read so much, you see so much about people's lives, celebrities' lives, or even, people in your local community and whatnot. We've probably all been there, right? We've probably all had the same issues, probably maybe not personally on a personal level, but professionally, people, the struggles are pretty much the same, across the board. If you're in sales, there's a set of issues that you're going to have. If you're in a tech-based company or career, there's issues you're going to have. And so I think you can develop and have empathy. Some people choose not to. I think that's one thing. I think if to answer your question honestly, can you develop it? Sure. But I also know that there are people who choose not to have empathy when dealing with people.
Thank you so much, Bill. And definitely in my experience, I have 10 years in the corporate world and I've seen it all. I've seen people who are not really like in the leadership role, who didn't really care about the human aspect. And I was fortunate to also meet people who are really, really like in the empathy world and emotional intelligence even. And also the environment actually was helping us to grow as leaders as personally, actually, as human beings. Would you say that if we invest as a business or as a company in developing these leadership skills for our employees, do you think that the business is going to grow as well at the same time? Because there are certain costs, and I believe that maybe there is a mindset, I don't want to spend this money because it can be spent on something else. Do you think actually that the opposite is going to happen?
Yeah, I think anytime a company lays out a strategic plan and, they have a 1, 3, 5 year plan, the most important aspect of any company are the human resources. I mean, it's the people drive the company, and it's, while the upfront investment may be a little, high for the immediate return, the long-term benefits of developing leaders across every strategic unit within a company is great, because the number one thing you're going to get out of it is you're going to have collaboration. amongst your employees, to you're going to have a succession plan for employees because you're developing leaders, people who can move up in the company. But number three, I think the biggest thing is everybody's going to have just an unreal, or not an unreal, but an unbelievable experience in learning to become a leader. And some people may choose not to want to not want to lead, but they're still going to have that in the back of their mind. They're going to learn it and they're going to understand it. I think it's invaluable. Every company I've ever worked with or for has some sort of leadership training across the board, and they're all successful companies. It's imperative.
Thank you, Bill. What would you say is the impact on the individuals once they start investing in this personal growth, leadership role growth, and all these soft skills, the way we call them right nowadays, which are not actually soft because they are really like something that we all need. What do you think is the impact on that person? Because you mentioned that some people you work with chose to change the path, chose another direction once they started to realize who they are and what they are feeling and what they need.
Yeah, I worked for a CEO once who was having a conversation with him, and he said something to me that impacts my life every day. And what he said to me was, invest in yourself every day. Do something to invest in yourself. Read a book, learn something new, help a friend. And I think, the question is, like I said, people will take the meaning, they'll develop those skills. They may not want to put them into action at your company, but they may put them into action at their house, with their friends, that, in different parts of their life. I've never met anyone who has gone through leadership training or sat down with me and I've mentored them and said, yeah, this did nothing for me. It's a life skill, right? Leadership is a life skill. I think it's just, there's no monetized value you can put on it, because again, they're going to take it and transition into other parts of their life where they're going to be successful, whether it be setting yearly goals or setting a long-term plan for their career, their family, etc. It's invaluable.
Absolutely. I fully agree with you that there is no turning back. Thank you so much, Bill, for being with me today and for teaching us. Would you say that you have a framework that you are taking people through in order to develop these leadership skills, or is it rather in an authentic manner and case-by-case basis?
Well, it's case by case. Some people may be a little bit farther ahead in where they want to be. I think that, the framework or what I do, my process, the first part is you have to do an assessment, right? You have to sit down, you've got to ask, 5 to 10 questions about, where they currently are, where they want to go, what they feel their personality is, are they comfortable with people, are they not comfortable with people, and find out those touch points. And then you kind of move into the next set, which is like, okay, how far ahead are they? Where are they in the process? Or do you need to start from zero and walk through? And I think one of the biggest things is, as we coach people, we shouldn't be giving the answers. We should be asking them questions that they give the answers to. So, they ask a question, then you ask a question. I know you're not supposed to answer a question with a question, but let them connect the dots, right? Because if I just say, okay, this is what you need to do to be a leader, and, go, they're not going to absorb it. But if we, if we have, in instances, I'm working with this girl who, she's having a challenge at work, and she was going through the process of trying to give her the answer to how she could overcome this challenge. And I just said, geez, what's the, and a light went on. I said, where did the problem start? And she goes, oh, it started 2 years ago. And I said, how did the problem start? And she told me how the problem started. And I said, okay. I said, go back 2 years. And she goes, I got it. I let it manifest for 2 years. I really should have corrected it 2 years ago. And I'm like, absolutely. And I said, okay, now let's move forward. Let's move forward 2 years and figure it out. And I think if I just said, hey, it was 2 years ago, she's not going to understand what she did, and not that she did anything wrong, what happened in the 2 years ago. Instead, she uncovered it. She understood it gave her some confidence because she now had some backing for herself to go to her superior and talk to her superior. And it was, to me, it was awesome. It was like, okay, she gets it. And then as the afternoon went on, it just became, she started to lead the conversation, right? And it was less me, and it was more her unearthing the things that she needed to do.
I love that. And I fully agree with you. I believe that people are mixing things up. We have the training part, where indeed you give a framework, you give training, we have the mentoring, and then we have the coaching. And definitely coaching is all about the asking questions and finding your own answers. And this is something that I am actually passionate about, because I see clients like really coming up with their own solutions when they didn't even see that there is a solution. And do you think that this can actually be applied also by leaders to become coaches themselves, to find a way to ask questions to their team members and guide them in the right direction, instead of telling them, you need to do this and you need to do that?
Yeah, and I think what you find are the most successful leaders are the ones that will walk with you, not giving you the answer, but once they realize that you're at a point where you don't have the answer, they're going to help you even more get the answer. But it's leadership is helping people down a path. And I think, like I said, I've been fortunate to work with some fantastic leaders. Each and every one of them have a little bit different styles. But the one baseline in relation to this question is they would help you, they would coach you, right? They would coach you until the point came where it was necessary that they would either give you the answer or say, hey, why don't you try this? Because at some point in that instance, when you're a CEO or whatnot, you need to get results, right? You need to have results, but they want you to do it because it becomes more impactful if you do it. If you uncover it. There's been many times in my life, in my career, where I've had people, do that with me, right? They're leading me, and then as soon as I get it, it's almost like I'm so proud of myself that I figured it out. And I love seeing that reaction in other folks when I watch them do it now. But I definitely think, leadership is a form of coaching to me. I think they're very, they all work in concert, mentoring, coaching, leadership. It all works in concert with one another, because I don't think you can be a great leader with understanding how to coach. And I don't think you can mentor without understanding how to lead.
I love that. I will take it over and also pass it on. Thank you so much, Bill, for helping us to understand what to do and how to do it. I would like to close our interview today by asking you one essential question. Who are you serving and how can people contact you?
Sure. So my main focus right now are folks that live in the business world, that are, below a $25 million company or a startup, who just need that direction, right? They need to have some guidance. They have a great idea. They have a great product. They have a great offering. But they just don't know how to stand behind it. They don't know how to, come out from behind, being a back office to front office. And just those folks that are also just looking for someone who has been through, a wonderful career with wonderful people, who want to learn, some tips and tricks and secrets and how to be impactful in your life, not just impactful in your career, but impactful in your personal life, your social life, and your professional life. Those are the folks that I want to work with. I start from being very humble. The first person I ever coached on my own, just ended in the sessions ended in September, and I got a 10-page handwritten letter on how impactful I was on his life around Christmas, and I'm like, okay, that's meaningful. That's meaningful to me. I can be contacted. I have my email address is bblish@victorumholdings.com. billblish.com. I have some other businesses. And that's the best way to get me. And if you want to call me, my phone is 603-398-6807. And that's in the United States.
Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you for giving us these details and this information, because I believe this is extremely valuable, especially when we start our business. Maybe we don't necessarily know how to lead, and exactly what you said, how to actually believe in ourselves. Thank you so much for being today with me. Is there something else that you would like to give to our audience, a tip or an idea, something that is going to stick with them?
I think, it's something that I said earlier, and I'll say again, invest in yourself every day. Do something every day that's for you, about you, because you can't enjoy life if you're not taking care of yourself. And the more you can learn or help somebody or just have an ice cream cone. Invest in yourself every day. Do something that makes you feel good every day, and you'll be amazed at how positive life can be.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you once again for being today with me.
Thank you for having me.
And for those of you listening to us, stay connected, because there is so much more to come.